Like live, or
We are,
just
but you've
real?
disappeared and I'm fixing it.
Oh, what? I've disappeared?
Yeah.
Oh, we are live. We are live right now.
Technical difficulties. Oh, something's wrong with my face? Oh no.
What?
We've already been attacked by the xenomorph. Sorry, guys, it's over.
Dwayne is just wrecking everything tonight.
You know, I even logged in early to make sure that I was good. And I was good. You need me to turn off my... I mean, on my screen, my cam's good.
And now you're good. We apologize about that, audience. Let's try that again, shall we? Okay. Armor-piercing rounds sizzle through raw flesh. as plasma beams sear swollen retinas. Acrid smoke chokes down your throat before you realize what's burning is you. Chemical attacks melt your armor, simmer your eyeballs, infuse your warped helmet to your skull, while bioweapons turn your insides out and pulp you into quivering mounds of black jelly. Welcome to War on the Razor Edge of Space Marine, where nukes are yesterday's news, pulse rounds are cheap, and a human life is only worth its weight in stock options. It's a living hell, but none of that's as bad as the flashes of gnashing metal teeth that terrorize you every time you try to close your eyes, like some goddamn monster just split your head open and crawled inside your dreams. You joined the Corps because you wanted to see the stars. Well, not because you wanted to shoot shit. You believe in duty and honor. You believe in the Corps. You've made your best friends for life here and watched plenty of them get cut down by shrapnel or claw for no good reason at all. Hell, sometimes it feels like God doesn't want you out in space anymore than the devil does. Nuke never cares whose side you're on. Both heaven and hell are always looking for new recruits. But enough of that philosophy crap. You get paid to follow orders, not ask questions. You're just a grunt, no offense. So lock and load your pulse rifles, Marine. You've got a job to do. Protect and serve the citizens of the Outer Rim colonies, no matter what the cost. Welcome to Vorpal Tales, everyone, where we play terrifying tales and awesome adventures almost twice a day, every day. For you horror lovers, we have Unknown Army Sunday evenings, including JT, Vampire the Masquerade, Starlight, and Smoke, right here. Beginning next week on Sunday nights, where you can catch myself and Everfangs out. Scarred Lands, 2-Shot Part 2, Dark Voodoo on the Bayou, this Tuesday on the Onyx Path channel. Call of Cthulhu on Friday evenings with myself and Key. Beginning next Friday, Ravenloft, run by me, including Ever and Dwayne. Beginning May 29th, Simba Room, Saturday evenings, run by me and including Key and JT on the Free League Twitch channel. And for the next 3 Saturday nights, Necrobiotic, the hot new Kickstarter, which, by the way, already funded in less than a day, so you know it's good shit. You should check it out. Game will be run by Dwayne, and the crew will include JT. You can catch me playing a mage and Key playing a mummy in our Contagion Chronicle No Time for Reality Season 2 beginning May 28th. And beginning June 1st, we'll be launching our Vorpal Chronicle of Darkness, spanning multiple game lines, beginning with Mage the Awakening on Tuesdays. If it's a bit of sci-fi intrigue or adventure that you fancy, we have Dune, Houses of the Landsrat on Mondays, and Radioactive Summers, Fallout 2D20 Radioactive Summers on Wednesdays. Be sure to check our website, vorpaltales.com, to get our complete calendar, get recaps of all shows, and get the links to our past archive of shows on YouTube. There's like 300 videos on there now. Lots to catch up on. You will also find links to all our social media there and our Patreon. Be sure to click follow on Twitch so you can be notified of shows, and on YouTube, subscribe and hit the bell. All new and current Twitch followers are entered into a drawing for more free PDFs of any of our past games once we hit the next double aught. I think we've done that 3 times now, 2 or 3 times. After that, it's on our way to 1,000 when we're going to give away dice and hardcovers. Special thanks to Free League for being awesome and for all the support they offer. Thanks to Astral Tabletop and Foundry for the virtual tabletop support we'll be using for this game. To my brother, Nate Mid, for creating the Astral character sheet we use in this game. For music, you will hear sounds from many places, including Coag Music, Somnium Music, and White Bat Audio. You'll be able to see links to all those cool people momentarily whenever spams you with them in chat. In this game, we'll be using the shiny new Colonial Operations Manual from Free League. Colonial Marines Operations Manual from Free League in this game, and we encourage you to go get a copy of it, pre-order. It'll be hitting their warehouses and getting shipped in early June. PDF's available now. And has many new character options, tons of equipment, and world building, a full campaign, and a series of adventures also. And, like every Free League game, it's gorgeous. That link will appear momentarily too. Marines, get on the line, form up, and sound off like the ultimate badasses you are.
I'm going to start this off with a good medium. Hi, I'm J3Billion. And yeah, I'm excited to be playing our Navy, Marine, whichever night, to be determined.
Hey everybody, I'm Ever. My pronouns are they, them, and tonight I am not sure who I'll be playing, but I'm excited to find out. And you can find me all over the internet as Changeling Ever.
Hello, everyone. I am Dwayne, at Made of Kimchi on the internet. Tonight, I will also be playing a Marine who is Marine.
Hi, hi, I think I'm next. I'm Rosie. I'm new to Vorpal Tales, and I will also be playing a Marine. We're just going to find out a little bit more about them as we go.
Hi, I'm Kisama. You can find me on Twitter at TrueKisama. And tonight, I'm here to chew gum and shoot scum.
Folks, I'm JT, last and definitely least. You can find me on the internet at Zensomancer, and I guess we'll figure out what I'm playing as well since we're doing character creation.
I love Session Zero introductions. I'm playing a something. Okay. Positions. As usual, Kisama will be recording awesome times for clips. Ever will be reading recaps, which means I need someone to take notes to for the recaps. We're giving John a break because John did it for Black Void and for Pathfinder. So, I'm going to give it to Dwayne unless that's your thing, Rosie, and you're into it, then you can have it.
I take notes generally, but if there's a format you guys like, I would be more than happy to see what you guys use and then go from there.
So basically all it is we have somebody write up the recap in a summary format. It can be any style you want. Some people do it narratively. Some people just write down the facts. Some people do it, in fiction style. It's utterly up to you. You don't even have to do it either, but I always like to offer something.
I'm perfectly happy to let Dwayne have that.
I'm on it.
Excellent. So, before we start building characters, we should probably describe the game a little bit, huh? Colonial Marines. Either via free draft, free will, or gunpoint, you signed up for the Colonial Marines. Congratulations. Your recruiter probably gave you a pretty story about paid education, learning a trade, traveling to beautiful new worlds, and getting off your boring-ass colony. Probably even told you the Americas haven't been in an open conflict since the Dog War ended almost 2 decades ago. Definitely told you you'd get to shoot a nice big gun. Well, Marine, that last one's true. The rest, well, let's just say those little gems ain't as shiny as you thought and they smell bad. If you signed up thinking you're going to be taking on enemy platoons by yourself in slow motion running away from some explosions like a goddamn action hero, just stop that shit right now. You're embarrassing yourself and you're embarrassing the Corps. Modern warfare is a dangerous business. Once you step off that dropship and onto a battlefield, you'll run into more ways to die than there are for you to stay alive. Just remember that war is more nuts and gory than guts and glory. Before we discuss what exactly it is you've gotten yourself into, let's take a look at what the USCMC does. The amended National Security Act describes it as follows. The United States Colonial Marine Corps is an integral part of the United Americas Allied Command that is tasked with maintaining the collective security of all United American signatories and their recognized interstellar colonies within the frontiers of the network. You are the first line of defense against any attack on a UA colony. That means any world belonging to the United States, Canada, Latin America, and any other member of the UA. That definition has sometimes been broadened to include the colonies of UA ally nations, as including the Three World Empire. Working closely with colonial administration and local governments, the Colonial Marines are a first response threat assessment group designed to handle most armed conflicts and natural disasters within the colonized boundaries of the 20 parsec limit. If there is any problem a colony cannot handle on its own, the UA throws the Marines at it to see if they stick. That means you. Get sticky. Under the purview of the UAAC, the Colonial Marines coordinate with the Colonial Armed Forces, Colonial Navy, Aerospace Forces, and the Defense Fleet to execute any extended peace or wartime extrasolar engagements and operations necessary to protect the integrity of the Colonial United Americas. Sounds boring, I know. What it means is the Colonial Marines can be backed up and augmented by the other armed forces to ruin the day of any asshole who thinks they're better than us. In the event that the Secretary of Defense and the UAAC High Command should become incapacitated, deceased, resign, or be removed from office, the highest-ranking officer of the USCMC shall assume command of an advisory council representing the other branches of service. This interim UAAC command shall control the nation's military might under the President of the United Americas until such time as vacant roles can be filled. Right after the UAAC, The USCMC has superiority over all other branches of the UA military, and deservedly so. The other services can only accomplish codependently what the Colonial Marines can do on their own. If everything goes to hell during wartime and we lose UAAC command, the USCMC leads the charge against the enemy. Finally, there's this bullshit amendment. Co-financed by Colonial Administration and the Weyland-Yutani Corporation in order to offer technologically superior protective services to joint venture colony worlds, the USCMC can also be activated as a corporate security force tasked with protecting short-term company interests. In layman's terms, sometimes you're the badass gallant heroes riding in on a dropship under prayer to protect life, liberty, and the pursuit of paychecks. And sometimes you're just Weyland-Yutani's bitch. And now I'm switching books. So, what's it like to be a Colonial Marine? Have hypersleep pod. Will travel. First, you're gonna sleep. A lot. Like, a lot. Even with the fastest displacement drives available in this universe, it still takes almost 3 months to get from one side of claimed space to the other. Try to get there on something slower than a cruiser or frigate, and it could take 3 years. That's hypersleep time in a freezer pod doing nothing but dreaming. Because of this, your tour is going to take a few more years than you probably thought it would. Sleep time doesn't count on your contract. The good news is that while everyone else you grew up with is getting old on some mining asteroid, you'll still be young and kicking when your tour's up. So there's that. Now, all that shit about visiting exciting new worlds, well, all the other Outer Rim colonies are just as boring as that lump of space rock you called home. Planets, moons, asteroids, doesn't make no difference. Every world's got a sunrise and a sunset or two, but on the Outer Rim, they're always too something. Too wet, too dry, too hot, too cold, too full of bugs, whatever. And one way or another, they all try to make you dead. Hell, most of the colonies you'll deploy to ain't even real breathers. They're shakes and bakes. That processed canned air stinks just as bad on every one of them. They all got that cheap metal taste, because the O2 there is just as recycled as that shit on your homeworld. If there were a ton of worlds we could breathe on, do you think the company would be cranking out those big-ass air scrubbers everywhere? The colonies have got an overpopulation and overcrowding problem. Humanity needs breathing room, and there ain't no more left. That long-ass American arm has got to grope just a little further into the void and hope nothing out there gnaws its fingers off in the dark. That's why they'll be dropping you and your squad's asses on the frontier to secure new planets and moons on the ready line of known space. On the frontier, everything wants to kill you, including the damn air. If the O2 ain't that tinny recycled shit, it's probably poisoned. Ion storms will turn your dropship into a brick in freefall, and there are alien critters on these outer colonies that want nothing more than to eat you inside out. Bugs, beasts, and blobs. One platoon even fought off a goddamn dinosaur on Muldoon's moon. When the local fauna gets out of hand, we're the goddamn exterminators. Yes, sir, you get paid to endanger species. More often than not, we clear out the local fauna and make it safe for the colonists, their babies, and their babies' babies. A little shit job the Marines like to call a bug hunt. Sure, some of them space bugs are cute. Some might even seem friendly at first. But trust me, you don't need no poodle-sized cockroach humping your leg in the middle of the night, pooping its larvae in your boot at dawn, and eating your face at breakfast. Nothing out here is your friend besides your fire team buddy and your M41A1. Even the fucking plants want nothing more than to turn you into fertilizer, but that's why they give us the incinerators. If the jungle so much as looks at you funny, burn it. Sometimes you just have to burn the forest from the trees, and then burn down the fucking trees as well, just for good measure. Call in an airstrike. Douse it in toxic chemicals. You do what it takes to make the bad plants and angry animals go away. Don't go throwing nukes at the colony, though. The corporate types usually don't like us irradiating their planet to protect it. Your job on Frontier Worlds is to make it easy for the dumbass colonists to set up shop, not to make them glow in the dark. Then there's the real assholes out there. Us, people. Every nation and 2-bit independent colony is pushing up against each other and the unknown. Most colonial insurrections are laughable, and any raiders or pirates that the colonial marshals can't handle are a flash in the pan for the core. But every now and then somebody gets entrenched on some key production world. You just can't scrape them off your shoe, so you've got to go in on foot and enforce. Lots of times, corporations are scrambling to own everything and rent you standing room only. Sometimes two companies will get into spit fights, and that end with us coming in on one side or the other and waving big sticks around. On the frontier, it's all about who has the biggest stick. Everyone is out here waving their sticks like they own the joint. Sometimes their stick isn't big enough. Sometimes the guy next door waves a bigger stick back. Sometimes he waves a tank. Next thing you know, everyone's nuked each other, and there's one less habitable moon to squabble over. But it's all fair in love and war or some shit, right? Right. All of that is from the new Colonial Marines book. It's pretty great. So.
I know it's supposed to be serious, but I found that hilarious.
It is very awesomely written. I enjoy all of it. Alright, that's a bunch of hypotheticals, though. So how does that apply directly to your characters? So, I've given you a bunch of hypotheticals, Marine, but how does this relate to you right now? Lately, there have been more and more open conflicts erupting along the frontier. As if Australia and the oil wars weren't bad enough, the nuking of Hadley's Hope on LV-426 has caused a major schism in interstellar relations, and things are beginning to look bad. Real bad. For almost 20 years now, the Socialist Union of Progressive Peoples and the United Americas have engaged in a friendly Cold War game of cat and mouse, each upstaging the other in an arms race that can only end in mutual annihilation. That end might be coming along a lot quicker than either side realizes. Rumor has it that the UPP has had enough of the status quo, that they have stolen some secret weapon plans from Weyland-Yutani, some kind of new bioweapon, and completed the program before the UA has. We are, it seems, about to go to war. There are also hushed rumors about that crazy banned book that's been making its way across the network since the Sulaco disappeared. Robert Morse's Space Beast. Dark network node chatter claims the book's account is real, and that some 6 terrorist fucks got an army of the goddamn beast ready to be set loose on the frontier colonies. Some even claim it's not terrorists but the UPP, and that Hadley's was nuked by them because Weyland-Yutani was breeding something there to begin with. But that's none of our business. Here's the facts. While Colonial Administration has been pretty quiet about it, there are some truth to the rumors. Over the past few months, the Cold War on the frontier has gotten real hot real fast. The UPP has been showing up and claiming American systems left and right, drawing lines in our own backyards and daring us to cross them. And they aren't the only ones being bold. There are disgruntled colonists on production worlds threatening to destroy supply chains if their demands are not met. There are fanatics on the rim who will run right up to you just to explode in your face. And there's even someone on the frontier way worse than any corporation or government. Someone big and powerful who doesn't like us very much. Whoever these fuckers are, they're bombing border worlds off the map, and they're using something nasty to do it. Something nastier than any nuke. They've got black goop biochemical weapons that will turn you into a goddamn monster yourself. Whatever that crap is, it's terrifying, and it ain't from around here. It's alien. So remember, Marine, we're always the big boys and girls onto the frontier until we're not. And right now, we're not. So, back to me out of Marine character. Bug hunts. You've all seen aliens, so you've all heard them say it's just another bug hunt, and it's bugged people for years. What does that actually mean? So, the prevalent life form of the cosmos is insects. Both small and large. And when cockroaches the size of poodles start chewing on colonies or colonists, it's you who gets called in to be the exterminator. It's a duty no Marine ever wants, but every Marine gets stuck with. Over the years, that kind of work has become synonymous with the term bug hunt. As rebel factions make up the most commonly faced and annoying human adversaries on the frontier, bug hunt can also apply to flushing out entrenched hostiles as opposed to a straight-up fight. Questions so far?
Nope. No, sir.
Okay.
No, mother.
It's probably more appropriate. Yes, the name in this game for GM is Mother, for obvious reasons.
It's because you'll love and take care of us, right? Everything's going to be fine, right?
I can't do that right now, Key. Okay. Some lexicon to help you get into the universe, because this is not cinematic play like last year. This time it's campaign, and this is season 1. So you should be able to get into the setting that you're playing in instead of just it being a backdrop to metal teeth, black, horrible monster nightmares. Also, I should mention, in campaign mode, you won't constantly be fighting xenomorphs, but you'll constantly be terrified. So, the United States Colonial Marine Corps Expeditionary Warfare Force Projection Reconnaissance and Interplanetary Strike Force is the USCMC, and that's you. It's the elite fighting force of the United Americas, and as stated earlier, it can also be contracted to privately work for Weyland-Yutani and will also defend the allies of United Americas, which in this case is the 3 world nations. There are 3 major factions at this point in history. United Americas, who are actually slow on the uptake. They almost got assimilated by the rest of the world because in this reality, America went, eerily for real life, went very isolationist and cut the rest of the world out, and the rest of the world united with each other and jumped leaps and bounds ahead of them in every way. Technology, medicine, lifespan, trade, all of it. While the North American continent and the South American continent just stuck to themselves. When it says the 3 world alliance, it's actually referring to 2 major continents, which is the basically the entire Pan-Pacific region, and it's referring to, I'm going to get this wrong without opening it up on the book, I think it was not the Mars colony. It's either the Mars colony or the colony of the moons of Jupiter, all united, and then the Russia and all of its former satellites when it was the USSR makes up the 3rd faction of the world. Your ally would be Europe, Pan-Pacific region. I missed Europe when I described that. I apologize. So Pan-Pacific plus Europe plus space colony equals 3 worlds. That is the allies of the United Americas. Command breakdown. I'll tell you about operational theaters first. The operational theaters of the Colonial Marine Corps is divided into 3 main Marine Space Forces. So, Marine Space Force Sol is the core systems. Marine Space Force Ariadne is the outer veil. Eridani, I apologize, is the outer veil and the rimward frontier. And Marine Space Force Hercules is the outer rim and coreward. So when they say things like rimward and coreward, that's how the galaxy spins. I'll show you guys a map later, but it's in the core book and you can see it. You will technically be Marine Space Force Hercules, but it's not really going to come up. When I said that thing earlier about the 20 parsec limit, 20 parsecs of space are basically known space. Outside of that is unknown space, the frontier. This game is taking you there, because what fun would it be to be in known space? Command breakdown. So, Marine Command, Space Marine Command is a lot like real Marine Command. You have a platoon. Within the platoon, you have sections. Within the sections, you have squads. Within the squads, you have fire teams and specialty teams. Ranks work the same. Warrant officers, captains, commanders, lieutenant commanders. A whole rank of sergeants, lance corporals, corporals, and privates. Again, much like the real Marines. And hospital corpsmen, of course, also. There are other branches of the UA military outside of the Marines. There's the United Americas Allied Command, which is tactical operations. This Aerospace Force, which is exactly what it sounds like. The Canadian Colonial Armed Forces, the Latin American Colonial Navy, and the Outer Rim Defense Fleet. Questions on any of that? Okay. We're not going to get into how stuff works with the other factions because you wouldn't necessarily even know that anyways. But I will tell you that Weyland-Yutani also has its own commando force. They rent out Marines, but they also normally have their own commandos as necessary. Is it Black Lake? Am I getting that right?
Blackwater.
Blackwater, thank you.
Close.
Okay. Now, when talking about your character specifically, we'll talk about why you have 2 PCs. This campaign will encompass the journeys and adventures of an entire ship, not just one squad of Marines. So you are going to both be a squad of Marines and part of the ship crew. Sometimes you will need to mix it up. Some missions will require you to take some of the crew with some of the Marines. Sometimes it'll just be one or the other. There will also be entire sessions eventually where you're out in deep space and everything breaks down and it requires the crew to save your asses. That's why you have 2 character sheets each. You will have a crew character, that's the Navy sheet, and a squad character, that's the Marine sheet. So, when making your characters, one of you can be a synthetic, but only one. This comes with its own perks and drawbacks. They don't ever panic, which is a huge part of this game. They get better stats, but also when you suffer critical injuries, it can be worse. And 2, they have their own disadvantages that you'll find out when we play. Also, this part here is player knowledge. The characters won't know which of the 2 crew members, one player, one not player, are synthetics because that's the company doesn't tell you those things. Some people don't like synthetics. So, and if nobody wants to, they can both be NPCs. But does anyone want to be Bishop? It wouldn't look like Bishop, but a synthetic model. Artificial life form. True Key Sama, you cannot, and we'll find out why in a minute.
Oh?
There are things synthetics are not allowed to do. Who else might want to? It can't be you either, Dwayne. Actually, Dwayne and JT, one of you can, but not the other. What were you going to say, Ever?
I'd be willing.
All right. Mark that down on your... Which one do you want it to be, crew or Marine? Have you seen any of the Aliens movies? I assume you've probably seen 1 or 2.
Long time ago.
The first one, the synthetic was crew. The second one, where it's actually got the Marines, the synthetic was part of the squad. So it could be either.
Which one would fuck with everyone else more?
So when we did the cinematic story last year, Steve's character got wrecked faster than it was supposed to, but if it hadn't, it would have been his character that would have completely changed how that game went when Wayland Yutani took control of him and turned him on the squad.
Oh, that's right.
So that answers your question about which could be worse.
Yeah, and he was part of the squad, that one.
Yeah. Of course, if you're up in the ship, that could be even worse. If Wayland Yutani wakes up the synthetic while the rest of you are still in cryosleep, like David in Prometheus, or whichever one that was. Yes.
So do you want the opportunity to crash the ship or the opportunity to shoot everyone?
Correct.
The opportunity to shoot everyone.
All right, so make your mark on your Marine sheet that you're synthetic somewhere. Anywhere you find this convenient. Key. There is that special little question in the consent forms. Remember that one at the very end?
Oh?
Lieutenant Commander Key, please mark on your sheet that your Navy character is a flag officer.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's why you can't be the synthetic. I guess your Marine could have, though. JT and Dwayne. Cage match. One of you is the Lance Corporal of the squad. One of you is the Sergeant. Basically, what that means is one of you leads now and one of you leads later, because ultimately the Sergeant's going to die at some point and need a new character. Not guaranteed, but I mean, you go in first. It's higher odds.
Well, I played a chief the last time.
You did.
So I would like to be the grunt. I will be the corp.
Okay. The only reason you got asked is you put on your sheet, too, the Sergeant thing. So, JT, that makes you Squad Sergeant. For your Marine, mark that however you want.
So that means in play, Key leads the fleet and I lead the squad.
Correct. And if Key goes on the away mission, he gives you the orders and you give the squad the orders.
You heard him, folks.
Exactly. So, Alien has 2 game modes. Cinematic play, which emulates the film style of the game. You all experienced that last year. For anyone who hasn't, check out our archives on YouTube. What was the name of that? The box set was Destroyer of Worlds in 3 parts. Check that out for the cinematic experience. It's fast and brutal. Almost everyone dies. Some of you more than once. It was amazing. They're designed to be played in a single session or a small handful of sessions, and it emphasizes high stakes and fast and brutal play. Conflict between the player characters is likely, and you're not expected to all survive. In fact, most of you will die. That's what we did last year. This year we're doing a campaign. Campaign play is designed for longer continuous play with the same cast of player characters over several or even dozens of sessions, and you create your own PCs. In cinematic versions of this game, there's pre-mades. Campaign play can and will also be brutal and deadly, but the chances for you to survive a night are generally higher than cinematic. There are 3 modes of campaign play: Space Truckers, Colonial Marines, and Frontier Colonists. You can guess which one you're going to be. Librarian Writer Geek. Hicks was Lance Corporal. That's why he became in charge when Apone went down. Poor Apone. This hat is in honor of him. Alright. The key themes of Alien are space horror, obviously, darkness and tension with the capacity to shock you. Action. Every Alien movie has some kind of roller coaster action scenes. And a sense of wonder where you discover strange worlds and ancient incomprehensible things on grand scales, and many Alien stories grapple with questions of our creation, destiny, and place in the universe. Game uses D6. What was that?
Oh, I just wanted to share a quick tidbit.
Do it.
For the amusement of everyone, in that I started watching Prometheus not knowing that it was an Alien movie. And I don't care about horror in RPGs or whatever. Absolutely scaredy cat when it comes to horror movies. So
that went places you did not expect.
Did not finish Prometheus.
I am jealous of that experience. That sounds so much better.
So, this game uses D6s. If you're using Meat Space dice, keep separate pool. You'll need 2 of each because there's 2 dice pools. You can have more than 2. Typically, you roll 2. Sometimes you'll be asked to roll a D6, sometimes a D3, sometimes a 2D6, and sometimes a D66. That's D100 version for this game. A D66 means you roll 2D6, one's the tens place, one's not. Makes sense, right? Giving you a result of between 11 and 66. That's usually when I'm having you roll on a chart. So, character creation. First, you must pick a career. This determines your background and your role in the group. It influences your attributes, your skills, your starting gear, and the choices of starting talents you'll have available. The career descriptions can feel stereotypical, and they're supposed to, because it's a quick way for you and everyone else in the group to get an immediate feel for you and what you're doing there. However, it's just a starting point for creating your character, because this is a campaign, so you don't need to make them as one-dimensional as last time. Once you've chosen a career, you must choose a military occupational specialty for the Marines. And this is a more specified thing than just Marine. So, the careers available for your Navy characters, we'll go over those first, and you can all pick and choose. Company agent, scientist, roughneck, and pilot. And then, of course, key officer is yours, page 48 of the core book. So, who wants to be one of the pilots of the ship? This is the big ship pilots, not dropship pilot, although we could cross them over if necessary. This also means, we'll get to this when we get into your equipment and your little what your ship is and whatnot, but there are 2 fighters in this ship, so pilot also means you're going to be in space battles. So you need, at least one of you needs to be a roughneck, one of you a pilot, and the rest are up for grabs. JT raised his hand for pilot. We have 1 pilot. That is on page 50 of the core book, JT.
I would like to be the douchebag.
Company agent or the scientist? They're both douchebags in this case.
Company agent.
Okay. Page 42 of the core book. There is only one of those that is now taken and gone.
If you don't create your character like Mr. Smith and go Mr. Anderson at some point, I'm gonna be disappointed.
That is not the right kind of agent. You got to be Paul Reiser to do this right. Paul Reiser, but not in a comedy, yet somehow still hilarious. Need at least one roughneck who wants to roughnecks like a mechanic, an engineer, that sort of thing.
We do this, everybody can come out on top.
I'll be a roughneck, sure.
All right, that's one roughneck. So that leaves Rosie and Ever. Would you like to be pilots, scientists, or roughnecks?
I shall let Rosie pick first.
I can be a scientist.
Sold. Oh, John, roughneck is page 52 of the core book. Rosie, 54 for you. So we have one of everything now, Ever, so just pick what you want to be.
Oh, dang.
Whatever you pick, that won't be an NPC, which is better for the game.
Which character is this for? The Marine?
The Navy.
Oh, the Navy.
Should be a pilot, so we can.
You want to fly around in space fighter and
together.
shoot shit?
Yeah, why not?
All right, so that's page 50 of the core book for you. For now, just mark down those page numbers, because then we're going to also assign your Marine roles before we get into actually building characters. And I can go back and give you those. Pilot is page 50 of the core book.
50 of the core book. I gotta write it down because my computer doesn't like PDFs.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll be able to give you what you need.
Great, thank you.
For your Marines, some of you already picked specialties. If your choice of character for the Navy portion change that, feel free to update now. If not, announce what it is if you want to keep it for the squad. For you, JT.
Yeah, probably shouldn't be.
Yeah. Sergeant can't. He probably shouldn't be Overwatch. So that would leave. Well, it doesn't leave anything, but that provides you the choices of CBRN specialist, corpsman, assault marine, automatic rifleman, comtech, or regular rifleman.
Sure, I'll play the CBRN specialist.
Okay. Dwayne,
Now my cosplay doesn't work. I was trying
Something
my
about
best
that
to look
Elite
like a sniper.
Scrolls.
I'd say keep wearing it anyways. I like it.
It looks rad.
It does
Yes.
look amazing.
Yes. Plus, who says you can't look like that? As the sergeant. Dwayne, you keeping the role you chose?
Yes, I will.
And announce to the people what that was.
I am a forward observer, the first one in the field. Scout ahead to silently take out enemies and secure a vantage point.
For anyone watching, these MOS's specialties are all in the new book that we're using for this campaign. Ever will spam again shortly. Rosie, you gonna keep the one you chose?
Oh, heck yeah.
Excellent.
How can I not keep something that... The line that sold me, you're a combat specialist, words. You also use a big fucking rocket launcher to knock on doors.
And let people know what the name of that specialty is.
That's Assault Marine, also known as the Breacher.
Correct.
I knock down the doors
hell
and
yeah.
throw stuff in them to make things blow up, and then everyone else gets in.
And Key, were you going to keep the role you had chosen?
I will be.
Which
I will be
was?
keeping the Comtech Marine.
Excellent.
Yeah, tech specialist. Anything remote driven,
Oh.
sentry guns, all that.
You do know, if we were replaying the Aliens movie, who that makes you, though, right? It's game over, man! Game over! All right, so... John and Ever. We have no automatic rifleman, or corpsman or dedicated marksman. Corpsman's medic.
I
Like
will
it
be
should
the
be.
medic.
All right. So put hospital corpsman for your Marine.
Wait, the Marine's the synthetic, right?
Yep, which actually makes sense for a synthetic, which is also great. Yes. All right, John.
If I die, y'all are fucked.
You can't die. That's the whole.
Or assault rifle? Rifleman?
Assault rifle tech. All right.
Yeah.
You can be the best character from Aliens, except for Ripley, of course.
Yeah.
Vasquez was a badass. All right, so put that on your Marine sheet, John, that you are automatic rifleman.
Best character is Jonesy. Just saying.
Jonesy was in Aliens for a hot minute. You're right. Got
I,
left at the
She
apartment.
was in 2 of those. She was in 2 movies. She counts.
My favorite character was the cat.
That's Jonesy.
That is Jonesy.
Oh, I knew that. I heard it by the 3B radio.
Yeah.
Yes,
just
thank you for the raid, 3B Radio. Welcome. We're building characters for
And then hosted
Alien
us.
campaign.
They hosted.
Oh.
All right. Now, for your Marine characters, you got to have a field event. This is something that happened in your past that is randomly rolled because random rolls are awesome. Gimme.
Ooh, I am enlisted.
There we go. Right, so. For normal enlisted Marines, which is everyone except Key's ship officer. For your Marines only, not for your Navy characters. Please roll D66.
About JT, isn't he an NCO?
I think so, right?
JT is a sergeant. He is an NCO. So yes, you have to not roll JT. That is correct. Thank
Well,
you
there's
for
a
the
vent
follow,
table
Lady
B.
Arson.
Yeah, there's an
For
event
NCO.
table B for NCOs.
Yes, but I'm doing this one at a time. So first we're doing the enlisted personnel.
Okay. I
Drop and give me 20 doing.
Yes, Mom.
Okay.
Yes, I got it. I win. Sorry, Key.
Oh!
Ha!
Oh, that's probably bad.
So, John, roll D66.
A D66?
Yep, 2D6. One's the tens place, one's the ones place.
Man, I feel like they missed an opportunity there.
Oh, yes. Dwayne, please let people know how to do that in Astral without using the sheet. How do you just roll dice digitally?
59.
Yes. So, in order to roll an Astral, you need an exclamation mark, an open parenthesis, however many dice you're rolling, D, whatever you're rolling. Or you can use the dice down at the bottom underneath the texting block. For example, you can click on a D6 and then just change it to a 66.
Correct. 59, John. Manning a checkpoint on a war-torn colony world, you spotted suspicious behavior and shot the suicide bomber dead, saving a dozen lives in the process. When we pick skills, your observation starts at 1, not 0. And we'll put that in the chat for you. Now, Rosie, roll next. And if you roll 56 to 62, roll again, because nobody can have the same event.
$66.
66. So you've got a good rapport with the company logistics sergeant. He's always supplying you with unexpected or unconventional bits of equipment. Get a free talent, hidden stash, which we'll get to later. Also, the baby snore is amazing.
Sorry, I thought I was muted.
Don't mute that. That's all endorphins.
It was really awesome. We were playing a horror game, and you could hear the baby during the parts where there was the monster, and it was.
I remember that. That was
Yeah,
great.
It was creepy.
If I am ever watching my baby while we're playing, you will 100% hear her lullaby music. And I've been told it's terrifying.
The
I approve.
best part about that night is like the creature, we killed it, and then the baby like snorted.
Right on cue.
Right on cue. It was great.
All right. Ever, roll D66.
Okay, here we go. Well, that's not as satisfying as rolling a bunch of d10s. I got a 62, so I'll have to reroll.
Yep, you do. Or
What the
we
heck?
can just reverse it if you want and do 26.
Oh, now
Okay.
I must be stubborn. I almost said a 1d5.
They got a what?
It's 15. It's 15.
Oh, 1d5. Got it.
25.
During a colony virus outbreak, everyone ran out of ammo and your squad retreated to the marshal's office where you fought off the infected colonists. You still have the 12 gauge you used that day because it's your lucky weapon. So, when we do equipment, you have a free 12 gauge shotgun.
And that's my Navy?
No, this is your Marine.
Okay.
The Navy characters won't need events except for the pilots and Key.
Shotgun to the face has many applications.
Last but not least, Dwayne, roll it.
Go. I have to roll again.
Wouldn't my
I think I
Marine-
have to roll again.
Librarian Writer Geek. Black goo zombies do exist in this game, yes.
Oh no, I don't have to roll again.
What did you get, Dwayne?
22.
You buck authority given the chance of prisoner of the Corps, you chose the latter. You do your job, but still don't like being told what to do. Gain the hothead talent. All
We're
right.
up for some RP, Wayne.
Beautiful.
Now, for JT.
What about Key?
Oh, right, we didn't do Key.
He's Marine.
Key, you roll for your Marine.
I got a 26.
You threw yourself in front of a colonist and saved them from an insurgent's attack. Your M3 armor saved you, and you saved the colonists. You gained the Marine Commendation Medal and the Bodyguard talent. Now we have JT roll on the NCO chart.
All right, let's see. 15.
15. The sun's going down, the squad's low on ammo and dead beat, but you always volunteer to stand a double watch. The guys and gals appreciate it. Gain the light stepper talent. Guys, gals, and non-binary pals. All right. Navy people next. This time we're going to go in reverse order. So we're going to start with Key. Key, go ahead and roll D66.
All right. That is a 23.
They call you Super 6. You always know when there is someone on your tail and even works on the ground. Gain the watchful talent. Who's the pilots again? That's Ever and JT. Yes, Ever, roll D66 and then JT, you'll be next.
All right. 63.
You and your crewmen had to eject and survive for days in a hostile desert once, gaining +1 to the survival skill. So you can change that to 1 on your Navy sheet now, even though we haven't created characters yet. JT, go.
44.
44?
Yes.
The dropship was once overrun by bugs. You fought bravely with an emergency fire axe to help clear them out and lift off. +1 to close combat.
Awesome.
It's almost, well, at least in our first game, it was useless.
Won't be in the campaign. Right, so, who's my roughneck? That's John, right? Go ahead and roll D66, John.
38.
38. You picked up a maintenance jack during a colony siege. It got your squad into the heart of the complex where the fight was won. You kept hold of this useful tool, which works so well. It gives you +1 to heavy machinery when you use it.
Oh, hell yeah. That's going to be useful as fuck.
And Corpsman. No, they already did Everest roll. So who am I missing?
Company man.
The company man. Yes. And I don't think we had a Rosie roll for the Navy yet, did we?
No, we haven't done the scientist.
Scientist, you go first. Wait, no. I think I have a specific one for you. Hold on. See if I can find it again. Yes. I'm going to send you between sessions your event because it needs to be quiet. But you get +1 to manipulation.
And that would go under my talent?
Skill. Your skill,
That is
your
a
manipulation
skill.
skill would start at 1 instead of 0 when we build characters.
Okay, thank you.
Can't tell everyone else why, because some things I don't even want to be player knowledge. Okay. And that leaves our scientist, which again... I'm sorry, that leaves our company man, which again... Can't tell you out loud what the backstory is. But...
That's totally fine.
No, that's not the one I wanted to give you. Oh, you gain the stealthy talent. Gorman. You're not Gorman. What was his name in that movie? Shit. Gorman was the lieutenant.
Burke.
Yes, Burke. Okay. So, now that those are done, we can actually build the characters.
Yay.
So, the first thing that happens is... you want to set up your attributes. Always start with the attributes.
Are we starting with Navy or Marines?
This will be up to you because it's a point assignment. And then while you're building, I'll have some people talk about alien stuff so the audience doesn't just stare at you making the math happen.
On what page of the core book should I be looking at for the attributes?
Many
Attributes are described in the character creation sections.
Page 27.
Yes.
I can read a table of contents when I look at it.
And skills begin on 58 for anyone who wants to know when we get there. Okay. So, the attributes are strength, agility, wits, and empathy in this game. Simple 4. Strength is raw muscle and brown. Agility is body control, speed, and motor skills. Wits is sensory perception, intelligence, and sanity. And empathy is personal charisma, empathy, and ability to manipulate others. So, for those of you that are not the synthetic, you can distribute 14 points across attributes. Nothing can be under 2, nothing can be over 4, except whatever attribute is listed at key for your career. So, Ever, what were your 2 careers again? Since you can't open the PDF. Pilot. That's agility.
Pilot was my
Agility
Navy.
can be 5 on that character. Nothing else can be higher than 4.
Okay.
And then... this is where people just get to side-eye you. As a corpsman... I actually have to look at corpsman. Let's see. Medic is empathy. And your rules are a little different than other people's. So, for your abilities for that character, once you spend your 14 points, you would get to add an additional 3 points to 2 attributes. Those 2 can go all the way to 8. Empathy should be one of them if you want to maximize being good at medic.
Okay. So Damn.
Yeah, synthetics gets you cheat a little bit. While
I get +3 to 2
Yep.
attributes?
After you spend your 14 points, yep. You get +3 to 2 more.
Damn.
And while I tend to something real fast, I'm going to have one of our multitaskers do stuff. Dwayne, talk about your first experience with this franchise.
Well, with the franchise. Oh, wow. Well, I'm pretty sure that we had already gone over this type of thing in one of our podcasts. But my first experience with the franchise as a whole was actually with the second movie, with the movie Aliens. It wasn't until I was a little bit older that I went back and watched the first movie. But I super enjoyed it. At first, I really didn't know what it was about. But the premise of it seemed pretty cool. My dad had explained it to me. And the fact that it had Sigourney Weaver in it, I was like, well, she's one of my favorite female characters or actresses. So, boom, like, you can't not watch it. But after I'd watched the first two movies, I was still pretty young. I don't even remember how old I was. But then I started getting into the graphic novels, all of the Alien graphic novels. Started reading through all those somewhere in middle school, even up all the way up until high school, was reading those, the Alien versus Predator. Not to be confused with the movies that kind of weren't great. I have not played the remake of Alien versus Predator, the video game. I think that came out in 2013. But
Yeah.
the original one, the original Alien versus Predator, I did enjoy that game. The graphics were garbage, but for the time, it was awesome. Run on the ceiling as an alien.
I remember that. And that's why I asked you, because you're one of the few people in the show that's actually delved into the graphic novels and the books. And yes, foreshadowing, the Ouch will appear in this campaign, which is the fancy, probably horribly mispronouncing it, proper name for the race of entities we call predators.
Yes, if no one has ever read one of the graphic novels for Aliens, I suggest picking one up. They're very cheap. You could probably get one for like $4. Probably even cheaper if you have Kindle or something.
Yeah, I
it,
concur.
it expands on the lore a lot. You learn a lot about the dirtiness that Weyland Yutani has done even before Aliens, before Prometheus and all the movies. And then all the stuff that they're doing now, it's just, they're bad. They're just
True
real
cyberpunk
bad.
corporation, yes.
Okay, question here.
Yes.
The attributes are strength, agility, wits, and empathy, right?
Yes, you get 14 points. Nothing can be less than 2 or more than 4 except your key attribute, which can be 5.
Okay.
Oh, how fortuitous. Both of my characters have a key attribute of wits.
That's easy for the math. So basically, John, you could do 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, I think, if I did that right in my head. Because they all start at 1. Or wait, no. They all start at 1. I should double check that. Yes, they all start at, they're all rated 1 to 5. But they start at 0. So no, you can't have 2 4s and a 5.
I did 5, 3, 4, 2.
Excellent. And don't forget to do your other character too.
If I'm done, should I take over and talk a little bit about it?
Depends. Who's still going besides Ever?
Sorry, I was fighting with my Navy sheet. I'm moving on to my Marine.
Key, you got yours? Okay. Ever, where are you at? With the maths.
So I'll read it off to you. My Navy person, I put 5 in agility, 3 in strength, 4 in wits, and 2 in empathy.
Perfect. So you're done there. What about your synthetic?
I have 3 in agility, 5 in strength, 4 in wits, and 8 in empathy.
Yep, you're good to go. So yeah, we may not have to do filler, JT. That's why I asked. These character creation is actually pretty quick.
Do any
Yes.
of those sound like they need to be moved around?
No, I don't think so. Those will work for what you're trying to do.
Wait.
For the Colonial Marine,
Mm-hmm.
like it's just the Colonial Marine in the book. That's where we're building our character from.
That tells you your starting talents and what your primary attribute is, yes. But you have the specialty you chose, which is in the Colonial Marine Operation Manual, which is pinned to the room, if you didn't get your copy in email yet.
I don't think I did. I'll take
Which one were you, John?
Rifleman.
Standard rifleman?
Plasma, I think?
No, he's the automatic rifleman.
Or automatic.
Automatic rifle. So your key attribute is strength.
Okay, I figured. But I just wanted to check. Thank you.
All right, Rosie, you got your math rocking done?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So, we can move on to skills. Skills are on a scale of 0 to 5. In this game, you can still roll even if you have no points in the skill. You only get the attribute as a bonus to a modifier to your dice roll. So you get 10 points to assign amongst your skills. You can assign up to 3 points to each of the skills listed for your career. You can assign a single point to any other skills you want. And then obviously when you level up, these can increase. So up to 3 for career skills, only 1 point for non-career. Make sense? Total of 10 you can spend on each character. And Dwayne, since you're looking, can you tell John his Marine career skills?
The Marine career skills for automatic rifleman is ranged combat and stamina.
And Evers for both of their archetypes, which is pilot from the core book. Start there.
Pilot from core book. Pilot.
Pilot here, pilot there.
Pilot is piloting, ranged combat, and comtech.
And then for the synthetic, we'll give them a second to write those down, but for the synthetic, it's Corpsman.
Written.
It's a Marine with the Corpsman. No, it's the actual Corpsman archetype, not the Marine with a specialty.
For the Corpsman, it is medical aid and observation.
Just 2 instead of 3?
Yep, just 2 on that one.
Okay.
Most of the Marines only have 2. There's a couple that have 3, though.
So since it's a synth, is it just the attributes that they got boost, or is it also skills?
Stand by, I need to look that up. Alright, let's see. Okay, so you don't get extra skill points as an android. The other benefits are, and I'm going to put this whole bullet point list in the Discord for you. The TTs are supposed to be bullets. You get the +3 bonus to those 2 attributes. You cannot push skill rolls, which is their major disadvantage. Can't gain stress, can't push a roll. So basically, when you roll, that's what you get, unless you get an audience boost. Whereas a player can re-roll at the risk of stress points. Like a human, I mean, not a player. On the plus side, you don't suffer stress, which means you also don't get a signature item, which we'll get into later. You never make panic rolls, and you suffer damage differently.
Interesting. So I must correct myself. I did see recently one of the Alien films. It was the one where the 2 synths face off. The older model that did experiments on
David
the
and David.
humans. Yeah. Yeah, I saw that one.
David.
it came on when my 94-year-old grandfather was asleep, and I was like, oh god. It's terrifying.
I must deal with noisy, so I'm gonna. Since JT's not a huge fan of horror movies, I'm gonna pick on Key. Fill the dead air for a moment, Key.
Oh, I have a
Talk about
question
Alien.
before we do that.
Oh, what? Go ahead. Go.
Question. I want to double check. Knocking down doors, that would be close combat rather than ranged? And then ranged
Yes.
would be like, okay, cool. Wanted to
The
double
rocket
check.
launcher would be ranged, yes.
Thank you, sir.
Go, Key.
Yeah, so my experiences with Alien, for a while there were few and far between. It wasn't until I played the RPG for the first time did it really click for me, with just the situations that were unfolding there. We'll say that my favorite movie of them all was Covenant, that came out a couple years back.
Why, Key? Why was
Why?
Covenant your favorite?
Why?
I was about to say, interesting. Controversial. I like it.
Controversial. Oh,
Question: in the core book, the key skills are close combat, stamina, and range combat for a Colonial Marine. But are we not looking at that? Is that completely replaced by the new operations manual?
If your specialty changes that, yes, use the specialty.
Because it says at the top of that, it says you get at least one skill point each, and there's like a bunch of, and there's several listed, plus your MOS skills, which is even more. So you end up like blowing 6 points right out of the water on stuff that you have to take at least 1 point in, I think. And that's if you look at page 54 in the operations manual.
Yeah. Specialties are more demanding on the skills.
Okay.
The upside is you can also super specialize, and you can go all the way up to 4 for MOS skills if you want to. Oh, Don Arnetto, I'm sorry. So, Don Arnetto, would you say... Oh my goodness. I had that up on my screen too, and then I completely lost it. I completely lost Ash's signature phrase. I have failed the Alien franchise. There it is. Ash, would you say to them you can't lie to them about their chances, but they have your sympathies? Got that look, Dwayne?
I have 4 points.
Oh, you're just doing math. Okay.
Yeah.
You said 10 points for skills,
Correct.
and you can put 3 points in anything you specialize in on your character sheet.
You should
For
be
key
using
skills.
your military operational specialty, and that's 4 points for you for those. You should not be using the default Marine. If you're talking about your Roughneck, yes, 3 points for your specialties.
For my key skills, which would be heavy machinery, stamina, close combat. Glad you said something.
Am I missing something that the pilot key skills does not include piloting?
It does. It's piloting, Comtech, and what was the other one doing? Or ever, you wrote it down.
Either mobility or ranged combat.
Piloting, range combat, and comtech.
Okay, I will go with that. Sure.
All right, I'm good.
All right. Who is still mathing besides JT?
Finishing my mathing now.
Rosie's good. Ever's good.
I believe so.
Excellent. We can always review it later too if we think we need to.
Math 2, math harder.
That so matches the character, though. Good job, Dwayne. Totally forgot. I have no empathy whatsoever.
I'm capable.
All right. Let's see. Where are we? I already gave Ever the list of things that happen to androids that are different from other people. Okay. Talents are next, which are basically feats. You get one talent to start, plus whatever some of you got free ones from your chart rolls. So you get one in addition to that. Your career or your military operational specialty will offer you 3 choices to pick from. You can buy more with XP as you go along. So, from your list of 3, pick one, and if you have questions about them, we can look at them. The ones I know off the top of my head I can help with. Talents begin on page 73 of the core book, and the additional ones added in the new book are page 60. If it's available on your military operational specialty, Rosie, I definitely recommend heavy weapons to be useful in this campaign. A lot. All the time. Constantly. Maybe not constantly, but often. It would be under your military operational specialty if it was.
You mean under talents? I see banter, subdue, overkill, pass the limit, and weapon specialist.
Okay, so you have to buy that one separately. Got it.
For the talents themselves in the core rulebook, where do I find them?
Under your archetype. Oh, do you mean the list where it tells you what your 3 talents are? Or a description of
just
them?
like a description.
Those
For
begin
the
on
Roughneck?
page 74 of the core book.
Yeah, I can find out which I can choose from. I just don't know what they are.
Yeah, it's broken up by archetype on starting on page 78 of the PDF. So yours as Roughneck is on page 76, not 78. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's weird.
Oh no, it's page 76 of the book. It's page 80 of the PDF. It's for Roughneck talents. It describes all 3. I actually recommend Resilient or True Grit out of your 3 for that. Alright.
Ooh, that's fun.
The pilot military operational specialty is the one that has piloting, JT, not the core book one. So you can go with the 3 that Ever mentioned and ignore the core book ones.
I'm confused because that's Navy, not Marine.
Right, but it's the same. Going to be the same set of skills because the Marine book is the one that creates the ships. I'm just calling them Navy. Both of your characters are Marines. I separated the names so it wouldn't confuse your brain holes because it would have confused mine.
Oh,
Yeah. With the exception of the Roughneck and the company agent, every character is a Marine. Oh, and the scientist.
Sorry, I think that you already listed it, but the place in the PDF where the Marine talents are described.
Which one are you looking for? Which talent?
If you can just tell me where they start, I'm assuming they're alphabetical from there.
So somewhere in the core book, they begin on page 56. Nope, I'm not even in the right spot anymore. I apologize. They begin on page 77 of the PDF. That's the core book. For the new book, there's only a handful of them, and they're all on page 60.
Thank you.
Yep. So, Key, what'd you pick?
My talents?
Yes.
Yes. All right. So for the Navy, I picked Pole Rank. So I get to boss people around. It'll be fun.
Approved. I like it.
And for the Marine, I'm looking at remote. For controlling things remotely.
That'd be handy. What about you, Dwayne?
Well, I already got Stealthy.
Those were free.
No, I'm hot-headed, yeah.
Yeah, those are free. Those do not have anything to do with getting to pick a talent.
I know, but I didn't want to overlap.
Oh, got it.
Alright, yeah, so I got hot-headed from my roll, so I definitely think I'm going to be pulling
Stealthy.
Stealthy for my my forward observer, and then maybe Hug the Dirt.
Those both seem wise. Hug the Dirt would be for your company man, right? Such a good name.
I have
talent. Yes, John.
No, that's right. We only get one.
Sorry. The resilient for the roughneck talents, the little square with a looks like cross in it. That's a 6 on a dice roll, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The target is 6 on regular dice, and the face hugger is a 6. Okay, so a target is a 6 on regular dice. The face hugger is a 1 on stress dice.
Okay, and
Pretty sure.
roll for strength. Anytime I suffer damage. So, rolling for strength. If I have a strength of say, 4, I roll 4d6s.
No.
Okay.
You roll
does that
d6s
work?
and add 4.
Okay.
It's a simple modifier instead of piles of dice.
So,
You'll
anytime I
never.
suffer
You
damage,
should.
can
You
push it.
should, unless special circumstances say, never roll more than 2d6s.
For every 6 I roll,
Mhm.
1 point of damage is eliminated. If all damage is eliminated, I suffer none at all.
Mhm.
Roll for strength. Attribute only, no skill. So I just roll 2d6 then?
Unless it's a special exception, and then it does whatever the feat description says. What page is it on, and what book?
It's 76
Of core or new?
of core rulebook for the resilient feat. It's a little.
What's the actual PDF page?
80.
Yes, that one actually rolls a pool. So you'd roll 4d6.
Okay, that's what I thought. Like it
Yep.
was like it sounded like that. Like so the wording and everything was
Yep, it
was
does.
great. It just like the rules were interaction was a little bit confusing. So
Always good to make me look at the book because I cross streams sometimes when I GM multiple games. And that's when
Try it.
Zool arrives and wrecks everything.
I am Zool.
I feel like I'm a little bit lost. We get all 3.
Nope, you
of
get
the
one. You
one
can
of
only
those?
pick from those 3, but you get 1.
Oh, so I shouldn't even be looking at general talents.
That's correct.
Okay.
And those you don't get until you spend XP later.
Okay, I'm lost then. I'm not lost now. So I apologize.
No, I made the same mistake. So I want to double check. From the list of talents, we get 1.
Correct.
Okay, I
And
made
you
the
can
same
only
mistake.
pick from
so-
that specific list. The general talents are for chart rolls and also when you level up.
But we only get one from that specific list. Okay.
All right, you're only going to start with one that specifically relates to you, to your archetype. Yep. Oh, yes, ever. Let's start with your pilot. Your 3 choices are full throttle, which lets you go faster. When piloting a spacecraft, you get +2 to piloting rolls for any acceleration or deceleration action. Or, like the back of your hand, you know the vehicle very, very well, which is a +2 to piloting that specific vehicle, not that type, that specific one. Or, reckless. You live for the rush of adrenaline. You can push any skill roll based on agility twice, instead of only once, for a risk of double the stress. Any one of those 3 for the pilot.
I like the sound of like the back of your hand.
Okay, I will put that in the Discord. That one's going straight to you, so it doesn't spam the room.
Okay.
And for your corpsman. Calming presence. People find you relaxing. Once per turn, you may reduce the stress level of another character within short range by 1, in addition to the normal stress recovery. And you must at least think you're safe, whether or not you really are, in order to even try this. Or compassion. This isn't just a job for you. You truly care for other people, and you can push any skill roll based on empathy twice, not just once. In your case, you don't get the downside of that feat. Because for a human, each push would increase the stress level by 1. For you, it wouldn't, because there's no stress for you. Or field surgeon. You know the delicate art of stopping a wound from bleeding or treating grave injuries. +2 to medical aid when treating someone who's about to die from a critical injury.
Oh, that is so difficult. Those are all so
Those
good,
are all good.
especially as a synth. Oh my god.
So calmness, compassion, or good hands.
Can we go over mine as well? Because I do not have the supplement book.
Would you
Yes.
mind pasting those to me so I can
I don't
actually
know
like
if it's
process
going to look
them?
messy. Nope, it didn't.
Oh,
Oh, good. There you go.
Thank you.
As an automatic rifleman,
Yep.
your talents
Oh.
of choice can be banter, machine gunner, overkill, past the limit, or weapon specialist, M56A2 smart gun.
It might be helpful for you to know I took overkill, so I don't know if we need to both have the
I love
same.
that talent.
Well, I'm going to ask you a question right now, Rosina. I appreciate a serious answer. Is overkill underrated?
You're fired. You're so fired. He's
I
making
don't
puns.
I thought you were like,
Your serious answer can involve middle fingers if you'd like.
sorry,
It's
dude.
true.
Like
It's true.
that's like I got to make sure that's in focus.
It was so bad.
It was so I missed
You
it.
just got.
I love
love it.
puns,
Hilarious.
but overkill is never underrated. You
That-
should always
yeah.
go till you drop.
And Key, I forgot to mention something for you. As an NCO, both you and JT can pick an officer career talent instead of your military operational specialty.
Ooh.
Which I guess doesn't apply to you, Key, because you have the officer career. That applies to you, JT. You could actually also pick from the officer talents if you wanted, from the core book.
If I choose the smart weapon, do I get that gun?
It doesn't come automatically, but you will have the opportunity to take it during equipment phase, yes.
Oh, hell yeah.
You won't have a huge penalty of trying to use it.
So, what exactly is pushing a roll?
That's when you fail, you can try again. But when you do that, you have to roll your stress die to see if you gain stress.
Not a synth. So I'm leaning towards field surgeon because that'll keep everyone else alive a lot longer.
Yes, and then you can always buy the one you can cheat on later. You can buy compassion with XP
Let's
later.
See, compassion. Compassion. My medical skill is based on empathy. So technically, even if I failed curing someone's critical injury, I could push it without stressing myself out. So really, that one kind of beats.
No, because in order to treat medical injuries, you're rolling medical aid. To use compassion, you have to be rolling empathy.
But it's
Medical
an empathy
aid is-
tree.
That is correct, but it's not an empathy roll, it's a medical aid roll. Those are different things. Just because it uses an attribute doesn't make it an attribute roll. So, like, I could tell you to roll strength, and that's very different than saying roll a skill that involves strength. And yes, I did list you the dice rolls incorrectly. It matters too because you're creating a dice pool from your skill rank plus your attribute rank. So skill rolls are always more dice unless you don't have ranks in the skill.
Suppose I'll take field surgeon then, just to be able to fix all you humans.
I mean, fellow humans.
Fellow.
Now you are
humans.
allowed to tell them you're a synth. All the Marines knew Bishop was a synth. It's up to you as the player.
Probably won't instigate some drama at first.
But when you do, can you say fellow humans and like stretch it out like they do in Star Trek? Maybe.
Approved.
I like it. I might.
Is anyone still picking talents?
You.
No, the book made mine really fucking easy. I'm gonna go with the big fucking gun.
Excellent. So, that's actually basically character creation. We still have to do gear, and we're going to talk a lot about some other stuff. But mechanics-wise, that was it. Fill all that stuff out on your astral sheets, and then do the gear, and we'll basically be good to go. Your hit points are equal to your strength, so that's easy too, unless you have feats that change that. So, on that note, before we finish gear and finish talking about Marines and begin the story, we're going to take a quick break so everyone can get up and stretch for a minute. Audience, go nowhere. We will be back in about 10 minutes, possibly less if we're all ready. And we have returned. Okay. So, now, before we move on to gear, we're going to do some more talking. Choose your rank. Most new recruits have an initial age of 18 to 23, but there are exceptions. Recruits are initially trained as Marine Infantry Riflemen at Camp Pendleton, California, where the best will eventually graduate having mastered your MOS. In your first few months, you hold the rank of private. Within a year or so, you've most likely been promoted to private first class, and some will go on to become lance corporals. So, lance corporal, only Dwayne's character for the Marine. But for the rest of your Marine squad, besides Dwayne and JT, so that means Ever's character, Rosie's character, John's character, and Key's character. What rank do you want to be? How new are you? You've all got that backstory thing, so you've all done something.
Can I be the lowest rank, but only because I keep pissing someone off?
You can, and that would be private third class.
Cool. And that is the Marine?
Yep.
Awesome.
What about Key's Marine?
Say
First, second, or
private.
third class private, basically. So, how close are you to Lance Corporal is really all that matters, because eventually you'll get ranked up during the campaign. So, do you want to be third class, second class, or first class?
which would be the closest to entry? I'd imagine third class.
Correct.
Third class. I've
All right.
recently emerged from training, and within like the first month, I jumped in front of a colonist to save their life.
Real Captain America Steve Rogers there. I got it. John, what about you? What about your Marine?
It's gonna be. You know what? He'll be first class.
Okay.
Because he likes shooting things, and that's what he's good at.
Excellent.
Through no ambition of his own, he's just like, well, they gave me a gun and I shoot things.
About Rosie.
What about Rosie?
No. For your Marine, but I realized
I thought we already did that.
I already did you. So now I have to move along to Ever. What rank's your synthetic? Private first class, second class, or third class? Also, Dwayne, I know you have a bottle. Somebody redeemed Hydrate. Let's see it.
Explain that to me in layman's terms, because while my dad and both of my grandparents and almost all of my uncles were in the service, I have no idea what that means, because I wasn't paying attention.
You start as a E3, and then you work your way up to E2 and E1, and then you become a non-commissioned officer. So it's a level of how close you are to super rookie, or how much you piss off your superiors.
So I think my synth would probably be a little further along.
I would agree. You'd probably be private first class. Very nearly Lance Corporal.
I will trust your judgment.
And like I said, that will only matter because you'll rank up as we go along.
Apparently my dog agrees.
Good. Now, for your Navy characters, all of the pilots are LCs, Lieutenant Commanders. Key, you're a Lieutenant Commander, but you are actually number 2 as far as ship operations go. If the captain dies, you're in charge of the ship. Roughneck doesn't have to worry about rank. The scientist doesn't have a rank, nor does the Dwayne.
The Dwayne.
The company man. And then what was... Ever and JT were the pilots. What was Rosie? What were you for your Navy?
Scientist?
All right, yes.
So
you
I don't need to
have
worry
a rank.
about that.
That's correct.
Be a doctor.
All right. We keep talking about stress. I'll go over that real briefly. Life in space is lethal. More often than you like, you'll be under extreme pressure. In the game, this mounting tension is represented by your stress level. It starts at 0, and when you push dice or experience frightful and stressful scenarios, I'll have you roll stress dice, a variable number of d6s. Failures will indicate that you're stressed out. You'll gain some points, and whenever you gain X amount of points, you roll on the stress chart as your mind breaks. It's pretty basic. You've all played Cthulhu, so you all get that idea. It's sanity. It's this game's version of that. Eventually, you can go mad, for lack of a better term, right now, top of my head, and that takes you out of the game, or at least requires long-term care. Health has a health score. You start the game with health points equal to your strength. If you're filling out the Astral sheet, it should do that math for you, I think. And you can buy talents that will modify your maximum health score. When you get hit, you'll get the chance to reduce through talents and through armor. Whatever final damage you take reduces hit points when you get to a certain level of hit points, or when you take a certain amount of damage all at once, or when certain weapons hit you, we roll on the critical injury chart. Rolling high is bad, because you can instantly die in this game. You can get hit once and die in Alien the RPG. If your health drops to 0, though, you're not dead, you're broken, and we roll on the critical injury chart. So 0 health doesn't mean you die, but you can instant die. Make sense? Okay. If you end up going to 0 health in combat, all you can do is roll around on the ground and moan. When the combat ends and we exit initiative, somebody can try to bring you back to some hit points, but you still have to deal with that critical injury. That's how that works. Okay. You also need a name and an appearance, of course. At least get a first name for tonight, and or just a last name if you want to be Private X instead of a first name. It's up to you. You don't have to come up with the entire name yet, though. Just enough so you can communicate with each other for the entry scenario. And you all have a personal agenda. In cinematic play, it's given to you. In campaign play, all of your archetypes and MOSs have suggested personal agendas. Pick one of those, or just make one up. The reason this matters is, at the end of every session, looking at your personal agendas is part of how you gain XP. And yes, scroning is a word, for me anyways. So yeah, go ahead and pick a personal agenda now. Dwayne, can you check Evers for them, please?
Personal agenda for the...
Corpsman and a pilot.
Alright, so I don't think there are agendas built out for the specific MOSs.
I think you're right. I think it's just the Marine agendas.
Just the Marine agenda. Alright, so the core, this is for everybody who has a Marine.
Well, the Corpsman's is the medic. That should be the medic agendas.
Ah, that's right. Yes, the medic. Your personal agendas are 1. You are addicted to a strong painkiller, and you protect your stash and your secret.
Which you literally can't take with your medic. Synthetics can't be addicted.
Number 2, you have some unusual but classified medical reports that the company is looking for. Find out why they are so important.
That could be very key to the story. And 3?
You've sworn an oath never to take a life, and you mean it.
A lot of synthetics have that.
Yeah.
So would that be overridden when?
Nope,
So
you'd
my
have to shoot to
character's-
injure. But that
No,
only applies
I
to
mean-
human life.
Well, what I was going to say is my past role was the zombies.
Mhm.
So they didn't count as human anymore.
The black goo makes you alien, correct?
Yeah. You are indeed infected, and you will infect others.
Now, that's this specific case, not all disease, but that specific background is referring to the black goo from Covenant and Prometheus. You're no longer human once you have that. Your DNA is being fundamentally rewritten into a xenomorph of some kind.
Man, I want those secret files, but the oath never to take life.
Definitely makes the game challenging and fun, that's for sure. A Marine who can't shoot nobody except to wound.
But those files, those delicious files.
Yes.
Crap.
John, while they ponder that, I'll give you the ones for the roughneck. You're a compulsive thrill seeker. If there's a risk to take, you have to try. Or, you once sacrificed your family for the job. Now you won't let your friends down, ever. That doesn't mean they died. That means you gave them up and left and they didn't wait for you. Or, downtime matters. If you can grab a can of Aspen beer or even soda dry, only if you're desperate, and some alone time, you're happy.
I think going with downtime matters.
Okay. So put that on the roughneck sheet. Did you pick one ever?
I think since it's tradition for synths to have the never take a life, that's
Excellent.
probably what I'll go with. Despite the files being so tasty.
Okay. And then the three you can pick from for the pilot are, it's all about pushing the limit, taking a chance. So, take many risks. Or, you're stubborn and don't like to back down even if your friends might get hurt. Starbuck. Or, you're a loner. Always happier when you can do a task without relying on others. For the record, I love Starbuck, but Starbuck's definitely like that.
I think it goes well with my like the back of my hand to take pushing risks because I think I know my ship better than anyone else.
Okay. And John, you were a
Yes,
Marine
sir.
for the other one, so you get the same one that everyone does for the Marines.
What's that?
You can read those off, Dwayne.
Yes.
The one that all Marine, the three that all Marines pick from.
So, 1, you are a decorated hero. You need to defend your reputation at all costs. 2, you once helped cover up a war crime. No. Oh, no one must ever know. Sorry, it had a dash. Number 3 is the death of your buddy has spooked you. Now you secretly fear combat and confrontation. You need to overcome your fear.
Thank you for the raid, Goblin Cave TV. You guys are awesome.
Okay.
They have fresh and warm hearts.
They
Perfect for
might
this
be just
game.
in time to watch me and Rosie fight over Starbuck. No, I'm kidding.
I have such strong feelings about Starbuck. You don't want to go there on stream.
I saw you shake your head the first time. That's why I pushed it the second time, because I was watching you. All right. Anybody still picking?
I'm good. Got mine.
Good.
Excellent.
Most of
Oh, okay. Close enough to keep going?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Also, buddies and rivals. In cinematic version of this game, and once again, it's always told who your buddies and rivals are, but you get to pick. So first, as Marines, you must have one buddy and one rival in the squad. Work together to figure this out. And then also, as ship crew, you must have one buddy and one rival in the ship crew. So let's start with the Marines.
Lance Corporal Harrison's buddy is Sergeant JT, whatever his character's name is.
It is going to be Sergeant Murphy.
So Sergeant Murphy is his buddy because he chose the Marines over prison time, but everybody else looked down on him. And the only reason that he's a Lance Corporal is because of Sergeant Murphy. He's the only one that gave him a chance.
That actually fits my character that I plan, the character I'm planning pretty well because I'm going for a pretty empathetic squad leader that's kind of like chilling down to earth. So that works. So buddy is, what's your character's name?
Lance Corporal Harrison.
Thank you for the follow, Malice 1974.
My rival will be... Key, what is your Marine again?
My Marine will be Private Gardner, the Comtech.
Yeah, you're my rival.
You
You're
guys
all
don't...
about the...
I was going to say, you don't have to come up with why right now, but if you got something off the top of your head, sure.
We'll
Now,
leave it at that. Key is my rival.
It is easier if you... So, when you're making buddies, you do have to be buddies with each other, but Key does not have to be Dwayne's rival. Key can be like, I don't know why you don't like me. I think you're cool. And be a rival with someone else. So the rivals can be different, but it's easier if you go with each other, so it's up to you. Since there's 6 of you, that would work out very cleanly.
So as me being the squad leader, my rival would be anyone that's going to play somewhat of a renegade character, maybe that, you know, maybe occasionally doesn't follow orders or pushes things a little too far. If anyone's playing that type of character.
I think Rosie said she wanted to be low rank because she's always getting in trouble.
Yep.
Yep, so there you go.
Ruth is about as old as you can be and still be a private 3rd class. And she's tough as nails and keeps spitting on somebody. Metaphorically, most of the time.
All right, do you want our cool if our characters are rivals then?
I'm good with that. Remind me of your character's name.
Sergeant Murphy, Jason Murphy.
Yeah, I never liked that guy.
Right.
It's your name. Your name's dumb. Like...
Sorry, Rosie, what's your character's name again? Ruth?
Ruth.
Okay. So that means ever you need a buddy and a rival. Ruth just needs a buddy, and John needs a buddy and a rival, and Key needs a buddy.
I would say that my rival is probably the one who kills the most instead of shooting to injure.
That's going to be Ruth again. Well, no, that might be John, too.
No, it's
Would it
definitely
be me by proxy if I'm controlling all the sentry turrets remotely? It's remote murder.
maybe.
That's mind-blowing.
I think that
So-
makes you my buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I technically murder the most people, but
And
then
you also use synthetic things to do it, which
I
would
use
upset,
synthetic things to do it.
would might upset Ever even more.
I was going to say, you want to get
Oh,
meta.
also
They're
the
making
rookie.
robots kill.
All right.
Making robots kill Ever.
Key, what is your character's name?
Private Gardner. I'll come up with a first name later, but for now, That's all I got.
So that means Everin needs a buddy, and John still needs a buddy and a rival.
Well, I guess that makes John my buddy.
Doesn't have to be, but it's the cleanest way to do it, yeah. John's character, though, is a heavy gunner, so you might not.
If you're programmed for following directions, then maybe like you think I'm your buddy because I'm the squad leader, but I really don't care about you because you're a synth or something. I don't know.
Which is allowed, yeah.
You'd probably be the only one that knows since you're in charge.
Oh, probably, maybe. I don't know. I'm
So-
happy to roleplay that or.
I have no idea.
Is your synthetic compassionate? Like, there was a feat for that,
Oh,
but are you
yeah,
actually a
well-
synthetic? Like, are you compassionate because you're programmed that way, or because you actually want to be that way? I know that's a meta question, but for you as the synth, which is it? Are you cold and hard, or are you kind and gentle? No matter what the programming makes you do, how are you really?
I envision my character thinks of humans as cute little animals.
Wow.
We are squishy.
Yeah.
Very
Pat,
squishy.
pat, pat.
I don't
Save
know
the
who I don't know who
animals.
that would make your buddy then. I do think Ruth or John would work because they probably kind of sort of maybe not directly think the same thing. Oh, you cute little civilians, get out of the way.
So to make it a bit more clean, we'll go with John.
John, that just
So-
means you need a rival.
What was your character's name up here?
I have not thought of that yet.
Me either. You know what? Benjamin. Yeah, Benjamin Baker. There we go.
Wow. Okay.
Benji. It's a good Marine name. So while Ever thinks up a name for your sheet, John, you need a rival.
I'm going to go with Key for my rival.
How many rivals do I have by this point?
Most of the squad.
Well, never mind.
You are so
that's
dead.
Oh no, it's
Beautiful. I
fine,
love
John.
it.
There's
It's
no reason that
perfect. It's
can't
fine.
be.
Why does everyone hate me?
Like, it's not.
No, bring it in. Bring it. It'll be
I
great.
feel like that's a lot on one person.
No. The can of worms have been opened. I'm ready.
Oh, okay. Well, it's
Feed
not.
me the worms.
To be fair, like, this isn't like I hate you or even I don't detest you. Like, there's no negative implication here. It's more along lines of like, I tinker around in my spare time. I have cool gadgets too, but you always seem so goddamn dismissive of everything I bring to you.
Like
Because
that.
you all, like, here, all of your shit's one bigger or one better. So it's like,
Yeah.
hey, yeah, okay, go play with your toys.
Yeah, I saw this in training. Yeah, you let us all run around with these.
yeah, and mine has a flamethrower and a rocket launcher. Go fuck off.
I figured out what my character's name is gonna be.
What is it?
It's gonna be Adam, after the first human, according to biblical mythology.
It's very Wayland Yutani, yeah. Okay. So now your ship crew. It makes sense for the pilots to be buddies, either that or rivals. It's not going to be neutral, I don't think.
Yeah, that's the first thing I was going to bring up. You want to be buddies or rivals or pilots? I am also a risk taker. I also took that. And I took the talent that I like push and take risks a lot, or reckless, I think was the talent I took. So
Is it possible to be like a frenemy?
Yes,
I
but
was
for
gonna
sheet
ask that.
purposes, you have to pick one. For role-playing, yes, but for the character sheet, it must be one or the other. Can't be both.
a rival, I think, then mechanically.
It's so hard because, like, I think the true rival would be someone telling me not to do something with my ship.
That
would
is
be
definitely
me.
going to be key again, then, yeah.
Oh no,
All
not
right, so
again.
let's.
No, Key, no.
So we can do friends or buddy or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. You have friendly rivalries, like, let's see who can get the most notches on this flight. Right.
Do you have a pilot name yet, ever?
Do you?
I do.
What is it?
John Higgins.
John Higgins. Got it. I will let you know as soon as I brain.
All right. So, other metagaming things. The scientist would be rivals with anyone in the ship crew that doesn't like secrets.
Who doesn't like secrets?
God damn it. Why?
Okay, Key, I'm going to leave you alone.
Because John raised his hand.
I'll pick John.
You guys have names for those characters.
Dr. Laura Lamb. And what is the name of your character?
Ezekiel Thomas.
I like that.
Thank you. So is this going to be like a thing where, like, I found out one of your secrets and you just don't like that?
I think you know I have secrets.
Or you have secrets and
You
I'm
don't
just
know
like,
what
oh,
they
that's-
are. No.
You don't know what they are, and we are constantly suspicious of each other.
Alright, I appreciate that.
Because then we can, like, backstab and give the
Yes.
GM things to play with.
And also, it makes most sense for the scientist and the company man to be buddies, because you know each other's secrets.
Yes, that was definitely going to be my buddy.
Who likes drinking?
Oh, you mean in the game?
Alright, well, let me grab a beer. We'll knock a couple back. In the game, though, who likes drinking?
My pilot's going to be a pretty
Okay.
stereotypical,
Yeah.
like,
I-
hotshot type.
So you
hate
got
that-
two choices, but one of them doesn't already have a buddy.
Oh, is Key have a buddy?
No, JT has a buddy, but JT also said...
Oh, good point. Yeah.
Buddies.
I am hitting the bar regularly, and so, like, if you've ever been there, you're gonna see me, and... if you've
Zach
seen
would
me,
like us to
probably
know-
hung out at some point.
He's feeling left out, so he's going to make an off-screen character that also has a rivalry with Key.
Mother...
Yeah. Everyone at
Thank you
home,
for your
play
love
the
and
home
support.
game. Make a character. Make me your
Exactly.
rival.
I know we're joking about
I-
it, but I feel like I want to make you my rival too because the character I'm playing is is kind of a stereotypical movie hotshot pilot.
Yeah. Always telling the pilots, don't be so risky with company equipment, or marine equipment, yeah.
Get us.
Now,
Crash.
if you need a,
We
if you
only
need a
have two
rival, then I
fighters.
could- yeah. If you need a rival, Key, then maybe I can be the rival because maybe we butt heads.
Can I have multiple rivals?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
by
you
the
do
way,
as the Marine.
I decided to name my pilot Chase
Okay.
because name puns.
For it. So that means, Dwayne, you still need a buddy.
No, I have Dr. Lamp.
Oh, you're the company man.
Yes. And Dwayne, what is your character name?
Grant Leatham.
Grant or Rant?
Grant.
Grant Leatham.
Grant with a G.
Grant.
And Key, what's your name?
My officer's name?
Yes.
Jordan Lockwood. What is your name?
John Higgins.
Grant's rival is going to be John's character just because he follows no given structure at all.
I know how to fix the goddamn thing. Now give me the fucking wrench and shut the fuck up.
Does anyone not have a buddy or a rival for either character? Excellent. Encumbrance. Talk about this first. You can carry a number of regular size items equal to strength times 2. Regular size item is any item that doesn't say a multiplier next to it. Some items say takes up 2, takes up 3. Those are not regular sized. So an item designated as heavy, 2 slots, and takes up 2 rows on the sheet. Some heavy items can also be 3 or 4, and it will specify as such in the description. If it says it's tiny, takes up no weight, no slots. It's just free. If it says light, they take up a half a slot. Or if it specifies a quarter of the slot, it'll say that on the book.
When it says weight on a pistol 1/2, that's 1/2, not 1
Correct.
or 2. It's 1/2. Okay.
It takes 1/2 of a slot because you have slots equal to strength times 2. Now, having said that, personal equipment works thusly. Whatever your career says, you can pick from that list. And it also assumes you have a civilian clothing set and a uniform. Your career will also tell you how much cash you have. You don't automatically get everything your career says, but if you have the encumbrance for it, then sure. So yes, John, since your career gives you the awesome gun, you can now put the awesome gun in your inventory for the Marine.
Fuck yeah.
Ever, I will actually get you yours post-show since it's going to be a list, and you can't open the PDF right now.
Oh boy. Oh, okay. Thank
It's
you.
fine. It won't matter more tonight anyways. It'll matter next week. While you guys are looking at that, I'm going to put in your ear holes other fun things. You also get signature items. A small item that carries no weight normally. It doesn't have a practical use, but is sentimental to you and helps with stress. Common examples include a patch, cap, photo of a loved one. In Dwayne's case, his divorce papers. For his company man. So you can invent that, something that fits you, the now budding character in your heads.
It does have examples if you guys do need
Yes,
examples.
it does.
I feel like Higgins absolutely would have the shades, would have the aviators.
Yes. I think that's probably true. You gotta Tom Cruise it up.
Because every pilot ever always has the shades. As someone coming from the aircraft industry, 100% true. 100%.
For you, John, even though this would cause encumbrance, I'll let you have a lucky wrench or something. Like, it doesn't have any mechanical benefits. It's actually kind of useless most of the time, but without it, you're not lucky.
Can I
Like, if that's how you want it to
best
work.
officer mug?
Oh, we
You
need
can have
the
a world's
Irish.
best officer mug from someone important to you, yes.
Thank you.
It was totally me. I think it should have been me that bought it as a joke, but you're like, you're not
Yeah,
quite
finally
sure
someone's
if it's
paying
serious,
attention to my good
serious
work.
or no.
But Key, you could choose a cat.
Okay.
But
Ever, synthetics do not have signature items because synthetics do not have stress. So you only need that for your pilot.
Oh boy. My pilot has a magic 8-ball.
I approve. It's like 105 years old, but it still works.
That's also sometimes how I make my decisions on flying this plane.
I like it. Oh,
I'm
that's
back
great.
again later.
take evasive maneuvers. Okay, take evasive maneuvers. Right or left? Left.
Oh my goodness.
So,
Okay.
So I have the special weapon, the M56A2 smart gun.
Now make sure you know how many slots that one's heavier than normal. That takes up more of your encumbrance.
Okay.
But it's worth it. Oh, also,
yeah.
all weapons are assumed to come fully loaded with 2 full reloads.
Nice. And so I also have the signature item,
Yep.
the M56A2 smart gun.
Nope. Can't do that.
Damn it! Why not? That's all he cares about.
Okay. Also, the 8-ball brings up a thing. Let me pull up the page and I will tell you that. Thing we haven't actually said out loud yet. Is this here? One moment while I find it. Ah, here it is. Yes, so this game is assumed to take place in the 2180s, probably at 2180. The flight recorder of the Nostromo was salvaged in 2137, so at this point, the 50 years has already passed between Alien and Aliens, because obviously this is post LV-426. LV-426 was terraformed on 2157. And 2179 is when the incident happened. Obviously, Newt wasn't there the entire time. Would have gotten a lot older. In 2179, the shuttle from the Nostromo was also recovered by the Deep Salvage Team. LV-426 stops communicating with Gateway Station. The Sulaco is sent to investigate. Hadley's Hope is nuked from orbit, because that's the only way to be sure. The Sulaco disappears, but one of her EEV pods crashes on prison planet Fiorina 161. The facility is quarantined and shut down with one survivor. That's where you're at in the timeline. The Sulaco incident is actually what's causing all the skirmishes that are turning things into full war. That is the destabilization factor. So, when I say Magic 8 Ball's 100 years old, it's why it's 2180. It's probably 150 years old.
Maybe I've got a replica. You don't know.
So,
Valid. Yes, John.
Sometimes.
Like, so,
What?
Yes, sorry, things are getting jumbled in my head. It's very late for me. My Marine
Yes.
is buddies with yours. And I would like to propose that, like, maybe, like, since you are actually, like, an empathetic being, and I'm, like, I'm envisioning my rifleman as not like intentionally ostracizing himself, but he doesn't go out of his way to try and, like, be buddy, you know, like he's a little bit of like, I'm here, you guys are all right, I like you, but I like my personal space too. And so, like, that, I guess, like, my character would have opened up to your character at some point in time, I think, just because, like, your character is just one of the more empathetic people, and every once in a while I think, like, there's a need for my character to de-stress, and he would have sought someone like that out.
Okay.
So now that we're talking about gear, it's time for the fun stuff. I'll send you this afterwards, Dwayne, but crack your knuckles anyways. You are all assigned to USS, and now you get a choice. Ossipon or Gambrel. I'll explain why. You can choose either of those two names for the mothership, for the command ship. The reason is, there's a theme to the names. The Sulaco, the Nostromo, even the names that appear in some of the graphic novels. Ridley Scott's favorite author was Joseph Conrad, for anyone who doesn't know. One of his books, written in the late 1800s, was the inspiration for Apocalypse Now, so it was that guy. And the Nostromo is the Italian word for one of the terms or names that's in one of that author's books, and the Sulaco is the name of a town from another one of those books. So keeping in that theme, I have chosen two possible names from two possible Joseph Conrad books. You can have the Ossipon or the Gambrel, your choice.
I like words that start with O.
They are rare. It's one vote for Ossipon. You all get a vote.
I also vote for the House of Prawns.
It's two. Saw Rosie nod. Is that a vote?
I'm good with that.
It's three. Unless all three of you are united that are left, it's Ossipon.
I'll be doing the
I'm just trying to
site
figure out
We're
what
doing
this
an
means.
Ospon right now.
All right, Ossipon it is. The USS Ossipon is a modified USCMC Bougainville B. Bougainville B was the replacement for, without giving you a lot of technical terms, the class of ship that the Sulaco was. It's a heavy attack transport, but it's actually smaller and lighter than the Sulaco class. The Sulaco was of a different class that had blind spots that pirates could use to assault them. The new model does not. It is smaller, however, yours has been modified to be a heavy version because you're carrying more stuff. You'll understand why when we talk about the story, which will at least have time to introduce the story and your characters, if nothing else. It is a Bougainville B class heavy attack transport. Introduced at the start of the 2180s, the compact designs replaces the Conestoga frigate class. It resembles the same thing, but it has a distinct hammerhead bridge, and it does not have the same spots as the lovingly referred to conies. There is actually a picture of it, because pictures are cool. If you look in the Colonial Marine book on PDF page 107, that is a Bougainville class attack transport. Yours is slightly bigger. Don't worry about the stats. I have my own stats for yours. But you'll have all that in the first session for when it matters. That's your baby. That's your home. That's the orbiting vessel. It's not the dropship, clearly. Your crew is, and again, Dwayne, I will send you this later, 3 roughnecks, 3 officers, that's 1 captain and 2 LCs, 2 lieutenant commanders, 2 pilots, a corpsman, 4 Project Life Force scientists. What's Project Life Force, you ask? None of your goddamn business, Marine. Stop asking questions and salute the scientists. 2 Hyperdyne 341-B model androids, 1 in the squad and 1 in the crew. You don't know this, though. 1 company agent, 1 gunnery sergeant, 1 staff sergeant, 6 line sergeants, that includes JT, 6 lance corporals, and 24 privates. That is the complement of your ship. The ship contains the following in its modified cargo bays. 1 RF-30F, Class B service skip. That's on page 99 of the new Marine book. 1 Model V-10A1113 Mantis attack craft. That's on page 100 of the new book. 1 UD-4L Cheyenne series VTOL tactical dropship. That's a newer version of what you see in Aliens. 1 UA Northridge AD-19C Bearcat. That is an Apache without needing blades on the top. A VTOL strike ship. 2 M577 series armored personnel carriers. That's the cool car from Aliens, only you have 2 of them available. 2 Alpha Tech XT-37 Stigger 4x4 fast attack vehicles. That'll be fun. Page 83 of the new book. And 1, wait for it, M40-E Ridgeway heavy plasma tank.
Hey.
Attached to the sides of the ship on specially modified rails, 1 starboard, 1 port. You have 2 Alpha Tech Evac 3 series aerospace superiority trans-atmospheric fighters. So, your ship is equipped for war. There's a reason for it.
Oh, here.
Okay. Other things I'm going to point out on your sheet real quick. Consumables. Those are tracked using a supply rating for each of the 4 consumables. This never came up in cinematic play because it didn't matter at will and campaign play. You run out of a consumable, you die, or you get real sick. You can see what they are. Oxygen is a consumable, food, water, obvious things. Every X interval, I will make you roll dice to see how much you have left and how much has been consumed. That's how that works. If you see it on your sheet, that's why. If a supply rating of a consumable reaches 0, you're in for a world of hurt. When you're on the ship or at a way station, unless I say otherwise, you don't have to track consumables. It's only on mission. Except, when I inevitably make you get lost in deep space. For encumbrance, food and water count as 1 item for the food and the water. So it actually does take encumbrance to carry food and water.
Is that a
Air-
half or 1?
That's a half each. It's a half for the water, a half for the food.
Okay.
Air and power don't usually count towards encumbrance because they're usually part of a pressure suit, but external air tanks or batteries will if you want extras. Raven, thank you for the raid and the host. You guys are awesome. Experience. We're finally to the end of the character bits. Everybody loves hearing about XP. So, this is how XP works in Alien the RPG. You get XP at the end of every session. The group will have to sit down, not this session, but the group will have to sit down and talk it through and decide if the answers are yes or no as a group and for the individuals. For each of the below questions that you can reply yes to, you'll get 1 XP. And I'm going to put all this in the Discord. Did you participate in the session? You get 1 XP for showing up and sticking around. Did you risk or sacrifice something to further your personal agenda? Did you risk your life for your buddy? Did you challenge or stand up to your rival? This is why these matter. They earn you XP. Did you make a panic roll tonight? Did you overcome a dangerous event using violent or non-violent means? Did you make a significant discovery or revelation? Did you perform an extraordinary action of some kind? And did you earn money? For every one of those that you can say yes in a session, XP, but only 1 per question per session of XP. Sometimes the answers aren't clear-cut. We might have to vote, and if you're ever stuck, I'll decide. I usually err on the side of the players. I like XP. When you spend XP, increasing a skill by 1 step costs 5. Learning a new skill also costs 5, but you must either have used it without training and succeeded on the roll, or have an instructor for at least 1 shift, which we'll get into next week, that taught you. Learning a talent costs 5 XP. You must also have a day of practice and make a wits roll, 1 attempt per day. If someone who already has the talent teaches you, you succeed on the roll for free. You just need the day. It's 5 for everything. 5 for talents, 5 for skills. All right. With a few minutes left, I'm going to introduce you and the audience to what the story is. And then next week, we'll actually jump right in immediately at the beginning of the session after the recap.
I got one more question.
Yes, what is the question?
We didn't really go over gear.
Huh?
But I said we really didn't go over gear, but I can get gear. That's not a problem. The question I have is from the starting gear that you get, like that are considered the tiny items.
Those don't take any encumbrance. I did go over that. You might have missed it. So,
well, some of my tiny items are things that would be heavy.
Yes, but they still don't take encumbrance.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay, I was
It's a
trying to work
loophole.
that. I was trying to work that out myself, and I was having difficulty doing that while I was trying to listen to you.
Yeah.
So, is it okay if I deal with putting those things on my sheet later, or
Oh,
are
yeah.
they going to be important?
I assumed that you would put them on the sheet between sessions. It's just going to be me talking
Cool,
tonight
cool.
anyways. I'm actually going to make you do anything till next week. That way you all have a week to really pour through your gear list and decide what really matters.
All right, thank you.
But I am going to tell what the story is and what the plot is and why you are where you are. A system was found way out beyond the frontier rim outside the 20 parsecs. Far past where any civilized systems are, in a place where the darkness of space doesn't just stare back at you, it gets inside you and eats you from the inside out. The system was ignored for a long time because it was part of a rare binary star system. Not just 2 binary stars, 2 separate systems in a delicate orbital dance. One of the stars collapsed before it was discovered, and the resulting irradiation made any remote detailed inspection impossible, and it was too costly and too remote to send a colony or survey crew because no one cared it was outside the 20 parsecs. Recently, though, the energies have abated enough to allow remote scanning, and some synthetics with extra time on their hands, didn't need to sleep, decided to rescan this system again. Why not? Right? So, what they discovered was the remaining system that survived after the collapse of the binary systems is the most rare of prizes. Not just habitable, near Earth specs in every way. In the frontier, that's as rare as it gets. So the designation LV, like LV-426, means life viable. Most of you saw that movie. That's what they consider a life viable, so actual Earth planet must be something special. This particular planet orbits its star in a highly tilted, nearly polar retrograde orbit on an elliptical orbital path that only puts it near its sun 20% of the time. That means it has a severe tilt, it orbits the opposite direction of its star, and, it's an ellipse instead of a circle. That means that its seasons aren't monthly, they're yearly. So it has a short summer for a year or two that's very hot and a very long winter that lasts a decade or more. That's why it's acid and ice. So, during the vast majority of the campaign, it'll be iceward. The world has 2 satellites, and it's about 190% larger than Earth, meaning it's about half the size of Neptune or about a fifth the size of Saturn. There are 3 other planets in the star system, one similar to Mercury, one similar to Jupiter with many moons, and an exoplanet, which for those who don't know means it's outside of the solar system but still in orbit. The Earth-like planet is designated LV-1302, and people are calling it, because of how illusionary it was, Phantasmagoria. The exoplanet is designated LV-1303 and is designated Gloom because it's so far from the star. Gloom is Weyland-Yutani and the United Americas planet. This planet is currently undergoing terraforming. The third moon of the large planet is designated S3-GL491, and the host planet is designated Jotun, so the moon is called Jotun's Eye. The last planet, the Mercury-like one, is LV-1304 and designated Rodan, because, fire demon. Your world is the farthest out, thereby in the best position to keep an eye on and control what goes in and out of the star system, but on the flip side, any speed run to escape Phantasmagoria, it's going to be harder, because you're running the gauntlet. So, the race is on when it was discovered for all 3 major factions to stake a claim in the system and stake the prize. However, instead of going to war over it and possibly ruining such a rare prize with nukes, in a rare show of peace, the factions agreed to send a mixed team to investigate the prize planet. Negotiations are still underway, while all 3 units claim something habitable in the system and start building up for war in case negotiations fail. Gloom is the UA planet. Jotun's Eye belongs to the Russian Federation. I can't think of the name. And the 3 World Federation is the Mercury planet, is Rodan. You're on your way there to reinforce Gloom's position with all of your heavy equipment and be ready for skirmishes, and you have scientists ready to go explore the planet from Operation Life Force, whatever the hell that is. On your way, you've stopped at Misery Station, because your ship needed unplanned maintenance, and Misery Station is the very last Colonial Marine station before empty deep space. Misery Station is actually NISA 340 in the 78 NU SETI system. Up until now, if there's an ass end of space, this is it. One of the most remote Marine garrisons, Tanborough Station is a cramped 60-year-old orbital platform that was originally established as a monitoring station for possible communications with Lost Colony missions. It's all antennas and dishes, made it to an endless maze of maintenance ducts and machine rooms, all in a constant state of disrepair. While it was built to accommodate a few hundred Marines, the Tanborough personnel complements over the years have ranged from 50 all the way down to 2. Personnel and resupply runs only come once every 2 years, and nothing more exciting than broken plumbing ever happens here, except, of course, for the endless time you have to lose your mind. So they call it Misery. A glorified listening station with, until now, nothing to listen to. The biggest enemy Misery Station Marines have is the Misery itself. Now, however, it's suddenly being reinforced, re-outfitted, and built up, because it's the last way station before this brave new world. The station orbits the 3rd planet in the system, NISA 340, a small planetoid with a toxic atmosphere. During the Weyland era, with the height of the Weyland era, NISA was considered a prime candidate for terraforming. An old-style atmospheric processor was installed in the 2080s, 100 years ago, but was abandoned when Weyland Corp stock crashed a decade later. Any work the processor had done was undone, and on the surface the air is corrosive. Breathing in melts your throat. The abandoned Weyland colony is a scorched and pitted ghost town, crumbling in its own rusty filth. Even the cockroaches are dead, hopefully. Talk about how this place is suddenly... So, This place is suddenly a hive of activity as talk of the new planet reaches all of the outer sectors, so you've stopped here for resupply and refit. The Marines are obviously overwhelmed that are on station because everyone's trying to stop here if something happens or they need to resupply. So the corporation in the UA has decided we need to expand. Someone in a ship with nothing else to do is expendable needs to go down to that planet and turn that atmospheric processor back on and make it work. And 6 of you were voluntold. And that's where we'll pick up in our first session. As you get to know the alien RPG by trying to fix a broke-ass air conditioner planet that melts your throat when you breathe.
And that
So-
was going down to ESA 340.
That is correct. If you can get the colony going again, they can turn it into an extension of the base, and they can put in a sky bridge with the giant cables so supplies can go back and forth, and the orbiting facility can vastly expand. So, you'll have a week also to figure out your complement. The only requirement in the crew is the roughneck must go, because somebody has to fix the machinery. So, John, you don't get a choice of your 2 characters. The rest of you can work out the crew complement. You'll also need at least 1 pilot, but it could be... Well, no. Your ship only has 2 pilots. One of your pilots must go to navigate the dropship, if not both. And that is where we will pick up next week.
Jesus fucking Christ, how do you expect me to get that rust bucket up and running again? It don't make no goddamn sense.
All right. Okay, Marines. That's enough bug hunting. It's time to hit the rack. But don't worry, we'll be back for more Acid and Ice next week. Same time, same place, audience. We thank you for embarking on this mission with us and hope to see you next week. Don't forget to click follow on Twitch and subscribe and hit the bell on YouTube. We appreciate you all. Special thanks to our patrons and our Twitch subscribers because you help make our quality better, our cosplay sharper, and feed the endless chain of cats and dogs. Thanks also to Free League, Astral Tabletop, and Foundry, as well as Dark Somnium Music, Coag Music, and White Bad Audio for many of the tunes and beats you will hear in future episodes and heard in this one. Ever will drop links shortly to all these awesome people. Marines, fall in and sound off. Name, rank, and duty assignment with the Vorpal Corps, as well as Merc contracts elsewhere on the network. Begin.
Hell yeah, this is J3 Billion. Signing off. I am going to be here every day that is not and every other day. So I'm going to be here tomorrow, and then I'm going to be here. Pretty sure it's on Sunday now. Yes, Sunday. Yes?
No,
Sunday.
because aren't you in Punching Nazis?
Yes, I'll be here tomorrow. And
Yes,
then Sunday.
and then Sunday.
Yes.
Hey everybody, I am going to be 2 characters, so I don't know who I've been today. I'll figure that out next time. Anyway, you can find me all over the internet as Changeling Ever because of course I am Ever. You can also find me on Etsy at Neat and Code Designs, which I have not plugged in a while because it is sparse. But I have some new designs in the works, so we'll see what happens. You can find me playing tomorrow night Punching Nazis.
Punch them good. Punch them hard.
And I am Dwayne at Made of Kimchi on the internet. You can see me tomorrow running Call of Cthulhu in the early evening, and then also punching Nazis later on in the evening.
Was that jujitsu I saw?
That was me trying to get around my
Respectable.
desk punch without actually punching my microphone.
Looks a lot like jujitsu, I'm just saying, and I'm an expert.
And I'm Rosie. This evening for you, I was making Ruth and Dr. Laura Lamb. We'll get to see a bit more of them as we go. And you can find me over on Carrying Comfort Studios every other Saturday. So not this Saturday, but the following Saturday, playing a series of Heart City Beneath. I am Zester the Blood Witch. Come watch me wear elf ears and some makeup. It's awesome. I spit on things to fix them. And you can also see me do some various things in Gehenna Gaming coming up, so keep an eye out on them because they're awesome.
Yes, Carrying Comfort and Gehenna Gaming are our good friends. Definitely watch their channels. Their stuff is great.
Spitting on things to fix. Respectable.
Oh yeah, watch to see what I spit on. I spit on something new every episode.
Truly the highlight of the episode.
And I am Kisama. You can find me on Twitter at TrueKisama. Tonight I have been the most rivaled characters in this game. You can find me tomorrow in Call of Cthulhu, where I will hopefully be less rivaled. And you can find me Saturday night in a Kickstarter. Necrobiotic. Thank you.
It's a hot new Kickstarter. Ever will drop the link for people who want to check it out. It's already hit its initial goals because it's an awesome game.
Yes, check it out.
Hey folks, I'm JT. I'm online at Zensomancer, and I will also be seen next Saturday night playing Necrobiotic.
So many people playing Necrobiotic. Sounds like a great game. Everyone should buy a copy.
Like, buy it right now. Like,
Just go buy it.
I am Eldritch Echoes. The next time you'll catch me is tomorrow evening in Dwayne's Call of Cthulhu game. I have many places here, all of them spooky and terrifying, and I'm trying to kill PCs, even if I'm the player. So, normally at this stage, we'd vote for the Ride or Die viewers. So instead, this week we're going to talk about how voting will work. So the audience can hear too. So audience awards, not votes, are going to be, and we'll repeat this again next week, the ability to push a roll without rolling on the stress chart, but only once per attempt and only on skill checks, not attribute rolls. Now, votes will be different. Player votes are worth 1 XP, but you can only get 1 per session. So what happens if you get more than 1 vote? Any extra votes can do one of 2 things. Re-roll a death save, or redraw your initiative. Now, we didn't get to that because we haven't played, but initiative is card-based, and I will actually have the card deck, and I will randomly shuffle it and draw your cards, and it determines your order because no one can get the same draw twice. This allows you to tell me to put that card back and try again because you didn't like the number. So death saves are initiative for if you get votes beyond the XP. If the audience votes for you, not award, but vote, you can either re-roll on the stress or critical injury chart once per vote, and you can save them across sessions. That way, if you roll instant death, you can try again. So that is how votes will work, and that is how rewards will work. But for now, we must leave you for this week, but don't get too loud about it, because it won't do you any good anyways, because in space, no one can hear you scream. Good night!
Night.